Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit, because he was fucking useless.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Episode 14. John's got man flu or
I'm
something.
not well, I'll be honest, but I've come in, I'm like a trooper, me.
Yeah. Well, you didn't go to work, but...
Well, I did, but I left early. I have a headache, if I'm being honest. Probably fucking no wonder I've got a headache. Jesus Christ.
So should we go straight in then? Start with
please,
Coventry.
Where to start with that pile
Right,
of shit?
So I've got the team sheet here. Actually,
Fucking
I kept the team sheet. Right.
Come on, did you get a free team sheet?
You get a free team sheet in Club
good for
Red.
you.
So I'm sat there looking at it.
I'm thinking, well,
Nichols, Williams,
yeah.
Lernton, Walsh, Gilby, Mortaylor, McGrandles, Houghton, Britton, Boateng, Kasumu. And then I read it again.
Just to make sure.
And I read it again. And then I looked at the bench. And of the two strikers that we have got...
Yes.
the one striker
One-
who's fit
One strike.
wasn't even on the bench.
I know, it was a poor show.
No Russell Martin, apparently was rested.
Wasted.
But I did hear that Mr. Barry was full on dropped.
Cross. Dropped.
Full on dropped. Oh, and dropped.
Oh, right. Oh.
Full on dropped.
No, I said cross.
no,
Oh, I'm angry, he said.
Yeah.
Good
And,
if he showed some emotion, I got to be honest.
so yeah, that's.
So he told him
So yeah, looked at that and I thought there's no striker on there. Who is going to play up front? So we worked our way through. Joe Walsh has been pushed up front
he has
before.
been up front, Tony. He's done not very good up there.
Someone said Gilby, maybe Boateng.
I initially thought Kasumu would play up front.
Well, I thought David, maybe.
That's what I
he's
thought.
not particularly big.
No.
So we got a sort of a.
Let's pick the biggest bloke
Let's
on the
pick
pitch.
the biggest bloke on the pitch.
Put him up front.
We played all right. I mean,
Who did?
we did on Saturday against Coventry.
No, we
it
didn't,
wasn't.
no.
It wasn't great.
The first half of that game was perhaps, quite honest with you, up until last night, was possibly one of the worst 45 minutes of football we've ever played in all the years I've been going. It was utterly appalling. But before we left, it was all coming through on Twitter, wasn't it? Oh, no striker. We're playing, six across midfield, and I'm thinking, oh, fucking I'm not. And when you look at it, you just think, Jesus Christ, I couldn't figure out how he was going to set up, and I just thought, he genuinely, it's either going to be two banks of five, or else you think, I couldn't figure out what it was.
You've got to have
idea.
you've got to have a number 9, even if he's not ever played there before. You've got to have a number 9, and we sort of did. It was almost
Sort
like
of.
a 4-4-2, in fact, or a 5-3-2.
I couldn't. I mean,
With Gilby up
the
there a
first
bit.
half of that match really was, you're thinking to yourself, there's something seriously the matter here with us, because this is just, no one would in their right mind would do that unless you had the mind of Craig Levein at Hearts. Because I thought to myself, why? What is this? Are we Scotland from 2 or 3 years ago?
Well, it
What
does
is
beg
this?
the question, if Barry's fit, why, and we have no strikers. I mean, unless it's, again, it's I don't know. I mean, we've said quite a lot on this podcast, and we got promoted last season, that, we're just going to sit back and
See what he does.
see
but
what he does.
you cannot make excuses for what's happened since the last time we were recording. There's no excuses to be made for that, especially last night.
21 points available,
Yeah,
one taken,
and one goal scored.
and one goal.
That's nothing like good. I tell you what, though, it'll be the goal of the month will be a piece of piss. Really, quite honest with you. Right, that'll be easy. That I like that. I predict that, Tony.
I think you might be right with your. Who did score it? I'm trying to
Can't
think.
remember.
Where was it? Was it Bristol?
Williams, wasn't it? Nah, was it?
Was it
Sunderland,
Bristol
wasn't
City?
it?
Sunderland.
Did we not-
Yeah, it
when
was.
did we beat Blackpool? Was that in October?
Yeah, but that was the last time we won. No, that was Blackpool was in.
Yeah, September.
Must have been in September.
Oh, I remember the
Yeah.
old days, Tony.
Yeah, the good old
Scoring
days,
goals.
mate. The good old days.
Oh,
When we
those
were
the days,
we
huh?
were scoring 3 and not letting any in.
Free flowing football we had, Tony, for that one game.
So yeah, aside from the formation, which
Was poor and
yeah,
puzzling, perplexing.
we did have. Kieran came on
He did.
second half and he looked lively.
Reeves made a massive difference when he came on. The whole game changed.
Yeah. You know what I found interesting
Oh, go on.
is that when they showed the highlights on the old Quest, the highlights show, They basically
That
made
would
it
have been a good
completely Coventry lopsided. They didn't even show Reevesy hitting the bar.
Yeah.
They showed one chance of ours, which didn't really look like a chance at all, but they didn't bother showing Reevesy hitting the bar, which I thought was odd.
They're a poor team. They are, to be quite honest with
Well,
you.
to not beat us when we haven't got a
Shit state we
striker,
were in, yeah.
they didn't really
They're not-
create a lot.
nah,
They didn't do a
they-
lot. I thought there was
Their shots were flying all over the place, weren't they?
6,044 fans.
good
So they
done that,
actually only
yeah.
bought 200 tickets on the day.
Yeah.
No, sorry, that's wrong. They bought 500 on the day, but 300 of their fans, for an away crowd, didn't turn up. That's 5%.
Really? Wow, it's quite a lot.
Usually you'd expect 1% across
Yeah.
the board, but so I may be thinking that people, is it possible they were buying tickets because they do have a large away following? They might need to get that on their sort of
Get
on their list
well, they
to be
don't
able
go
to get
home,
other
do
away.
they? I don't think.
No, they only
Still
go
got
to
some
away games
boycott
generally.
or
So
whatever.
the penalty save.
Well, that turned it, didn't
Big
it?
shout out to Mel Gwinnett. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw in the lead up to the
I did see
the
him
goal.
pointing.
Lee was had his hands up like saying, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" And then I was watching Mel flicking through his little book, and he did this,
Oh, like the old John
he
McCurry.
did this, and then that. Right, no use on this podcast recording.
No.
But Mel, I'm not going to give the hand signals away
No.
on the radio
No, I can't
because
do that because that'll give
you know,
it
you
away,
never know
won't
who's
it?
listening.
No, who's listening?
um,
Who have we got next?
and he
Fleetwood,
saved
he'll be
it
listening.
based on what Mel told him, and it was
Yeah, it was good. I mean, he saved a. They had a free kick about 5 minutes before, didn't he? Which is
yeah,
saved.
he
I
saved
thought-
a free kick
but
as well.
when he saved that, which was a good save, but bearing in mind he's the one that gave the penalty away.
It's a
But so
fair
there was
point.
that. No, you got to look
Well,
at both
I mean,
sides
the
of
only
it.
good thing about that is that he gave it away is because goalkeepers
Someone
don't get
sold
sent
him
off for
short,
that
yeah.
now.
Yeah, that Benjamin did say that. My son did say he goes, "Oh, you can't."
Well, he
get
did
sent
say
off
on the
for
radio
that.
last night. I can't remember who it was. It Bailey Cargill? Was it Bailey Cargill? Basically,
Last night.
no, it can't have been. Oh, it could have been Bailey Cargill. Anyway, someone did sell him short, and they were counting him as giving the penalty away
Ah, right on.
because Lee had no choice other than
Yeah.
to take the bloke out, and didn't get sent off for it. Which
It's good. Do you
I'm not
book
sure
for
if I
that?
like that rule or not.
No, I
I'm not
don't
sure if I
to be
like
quite
it.
honest. I don't think
You know,
it's fair.
his double jeopardy rule
Yeah.
is a bit. You know, if a player if there's a clear goal scoring chance, and someone
Yeah.
takes him out, I think they should be sent off.
They should be. They,
You know, if it's a
denying
badly timed
goal
tackle,
scoring opportunity.
if it's a badly timed tackle, or a genuine attempt to get the ball, fair enough. Give him a yellow card or whatever. Don't
That
send him
did
off,
change
but-
the game. I mean, that changed the game. It was like someone had thrown a switch. Because for
Yeah.
the rest of the match, we were all with them. They had
Yeah,
nothing.
we were.
And like
we
you say,
were.
if it hadn't been for the width of a, like a crossbar, we could have got 3 points out of
Yeah.
that.
Well, when
as
Reezy hit
opposed to
that, I
one.
knew it
Yeah.
wasn't going in. But
Yeah.
I was surprised to hit the bar because it looked like it was going
mean,
over.
we
but
were-
There's a lot of dip on it.
For the last, I don't know, what would you say? I don't know, 25 minutes perhaps. We were just all over them, and you just think, ah,
But again, we
is
didn't
this it?
really, other than Reevesy in the bar.
No, we didn't.
We
have a
didn't
lot.
really look
Well,
like scoring again. Did
We had a few. We looked more likely to score.
We looked
than
more
they did,
likely,
yeah.
but then more likely than never going to score.
No,
Isn't really
a
much to
good
shout
thing,
about, is
no,
it?
not really.
You know?
And to be quite honest with you, my lad's like a girlfriend. I've said before, they're Coventry supporters, and
Yeah.
she was saying that her dad said, Coventry are never going to score today, and she was right.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they weren't particularly good.
No, they weren't. They were a poor team.
I thought again for 6,000 fans, I thought they were very quiet or when they did
They
sing,
had that one
they
song,
were
didn't
incredibly
they?
loud,
Bloody
but
song.
they didn't sing very much. Our boys did well in the first
They
15
did,
again.
Yeah. They did all right.
It was a little bit better than it has been recently.
The second
but-
half, when the players upped their tempo, the crowd responded in kind to that. So
yeah,
fair play to that. But I'll be honest with you, what we're seeing right now is the equivalent of putting a sticking plaster on a fractured
well, it's
leg
also
because
we're coming out of that and saying,
utterly,
that felt good.
yeah,
It
did feel good. I must
is,
admit. Yeah.
getting a point, a clean
Yeah.
sheet, etc. But do you want to be that team?
Is that it? Is that as good as it gets?
Is that the highlight of our season? A 0-0
Nah,
with Coventry at
against
home,
Coventry,
with no striker on the pitch.
I mean, would you think that? I mean, could you even envisage that even 2 or 3 years ago? Let alone
No.
no.
I mean, we're getting further and further away from the glory days
Yeah, we
as
really
they
are, you
were.
know.
I mean, we have to remember that we did have some very poor times in.
We had
that
some
period.
appalling times, yeah, but not like this.
But-
we weren't like this.
And the thing that keeps coming up, and we will come to all these things in a little while. But the thing that keeps coming up is, and I did say it, and I have said it before, we got promoted last season, but aside from getting promoted, there's not the sort of football
No, you
I want
want
to
to
watch.
see. No, we said it last season. We're seeing
And
it
now-
I don't want to watch that shite because that is
Again,
just shite.
with the injuries that we're getting, and it's not nice to watch.
No,
and
it isn't,
I
no.
was sat. I went into work yesterday morning.
Excited, Tony? Were you for
Well,
the evenings?
Always am. When it's game day, I'm always excited. I'm the ultimate optimist. I'm thinking, this is it now. This is it.
We're off.
And I'm sat there. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm thinking, right. Well, I could stay at work for an hour, book the rest of the day off,
And go.
book tomorrow off,
Jesus, no.
and go to
What's new?
Rochdale. But glad I didn't.
I was thinking about it this morning because, like I say, I'm not well at the minute, but like I've gone into work and I was thinking as I went in that in order to do that, to go to like Rochdale, you would have had to have like left your work early, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
To anyone getting up there.
Well, I think the coach left at 1:30 as well.
Yeah, really, as early as that. I mean,
Yeah.
like basically, so you go up there and like it's a bloody distance. It's a Tuesday night. It's not quite winter, but it's winter's tapping you on the shoulder. You get up there, you've got to sit through what was. I can imagine what it must have been like being there because listening to it on the radio was just I'm thinking, holy shit! And then when it's done. When it's finished, you've then got to get home. It must be the best part of a 3-hour drive home. It must be.
Yeah.
So you're going to get home at what, 1:30 in the morning, and then the next morning you're getting up again and you're going to your work.
Well,
and
see,
you've sat through that shit. It's nowhere near good enough. that.
Toby stuck a report out that he wrote at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I
this
didn't
morning.
read that. Yeah. I was expecting a lot more from that pair.
Well, I think there is a lot of exasperation. It's
You could hear it, and
yeah, and remember
It's like
that not so much Luke, but Toby's a genuine fan,
yeah,
and he feels it as much as any of us.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to write.
he can't.
He does write the things he writes, but it's not what he wants to be writing. And
It's not Pravda. I mean, they don't. But equally as much, this is a one newspaper city, and quite honestly, I think pretty obvious the print edition's going to stop very soon.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even get it through the door any longer,
I
so
haven't
that's
got it
odd.
for years.
But equally as much, you're thinking they can't. What's the best expression?
Sugarcoat?
Bite? No,
Oh.
but they can't bite the hand that feeds them because, like, it would be quite simple. From I mean. We said it on this before, print media and all that stuff. It's dead now. This is why we're doing this stuff, because you're getting it direct from us. You don't have to get it through like a third party. I like Toby, and it's pretty obvious that him and especially I thought Luke last night were really frustrated
Yeah.
because, like, I thought to myself, he wants to ask proper questions here, but he's just not doing it. You could tell a mile away that I mean, it was a very touchy interview. So we talk about
Yeah.
the game, or shall we just
Well, you see,
fucking
there
straight into him?
was no eye contact, and
No,
every few
no,
seconds
that's a good
he was
point. You
looking to
noticed
his
that.
right.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed
Every
that.
few seconds
yeah.
he was looking to his right. You could see he didn't want to be
No,
there.
I don't
He didn't want to
blame
do that anyway. And Luke said, probably not even halfway through the first half, I think, he said, I'm not looking forward
Not
to
to
the
this.
to the interview
I mean, what
later.
can you say after that? Shall we just go to Rochdale
Well,
now?
so let's
I mean,
do. Let me read this from
Oh, of course.
Stairsy.
Just from Stairsy, when did this come?
So this was last Thursday. He sent this to us. So this is before
He's
Coventry.
full of optimism, Tony, full of hope.
Yeah.
And
So
his
this is
little
before
heart broken.
Coventry, but it's quite poetic.
Good old Stairsy.
Sat here on a cold Thursday afternoon at work, trying to figure out how we have lost our way this season, and why we only show glimpses of what we can do when we put our minds to it.
Is he talking about his work or the team?
I think he is, yeah. I don't think he's talking about the same. The biggest troubling part of our game is the soft nature. We can see the most straightforward goals. Ball gets crossed into the box, nobody picks anyone up, and that definitely rattle of the ball in our net. And any bright start we make to the match is nullified, and the energy completely leaves the side. Now, I love that, the definitely rattle of the ball in the net. Because you can hear that in two ways. When the ball hits the back of the net, it's your team, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
When the ball hits the back of their net, and then you know a second later the cheer from the away fans is coming. Then moving up the pitch seems to have seems we have lost the ability of either one or two touch football, slick movement in the midfield. And we'll come to that again. That's either the personnel selected or instructions to play into the channel, and we wonder why Nombe has pulled a bad hamstring. We used to pass the ball well under Robbo, but now it's very attritional football, not any real style.
That's a great phrase, attritional football.
Attritional. Lastly, we let clinical finishers in the mould of a Bulldog or a Prime Bodic. And of course, Grigg, I'm sure there are players out there, even on free transfers, who could boost the attack. Just small thoughts, and we'll be listening as always. Love from Sturzy.
I like old Sturzy.
He's then sent us another one.
When did this come?
Actually, David Saunders has sent us one after Coventry. This
go on.
After Coventry.
Yeah, but he's full of hope, Paul.
Well, it is. This is the first line says, "Where has that performance been in recent weeks?"
Jesus Christ.
Not going to lie, I was fully expecting the worst when I realised we were playing with Boateng and the goal machine Gilby up front. We had the two best chances, in my opinion, and that penalty save felt as good as a goal. Come away buzzing for the first time since we beat KFC. Hopefully, onwards and upwards from here. Briefly spoke to Joe Mason, who says 2 to 3 weeks, which obviously helps out with options up front. And then he says, ignore this bit if it's likely to get you into trouble for saying this. Okay.
What we're doing for that, really?
No, we're going to leave that in.
Yeah, leave it in, David.
You should have said that before.
Not us, Dave.
Yeah, it was Dave. David Saunders, Saunders.
Not us.
As despondent as I was after the shoe-in by Burton, I'm equally positive on the way home today. Best 0-0 I've seen in a very long time. We must have done something right as Coventry fans on the way home were convinced we were shit. And obviously all football fans are idiots and know nothing. Keep up the good work, David. And then Sturzy, Saturday was a bit more encouraging. Think the spine of the team was better. Nichols, JMT, Houghton and Gilby. Bit frustrating we didn't have a recognised striker. Boateng was very much out of his comfort zone. Maybe he should have finished the chance he had. In the next transfer window, I'd like to see the front line bolstered with offensive options. Maybe a couple of loan signers like a Hesketh or a Wheeler type. Very difficult game on Saturday against a good Fleetwood side. Best outcome would be a point. Regards, Sturzy. And Paul Harris.
Is he? Because, for God's sake, Tony, we've been popular this week.
This was before the game.
Oh, dear.
Evening, chaps. Excellent podcast as usual. Was at the game on Saturday. Usual mediocre first half. Second was better. I'm pleased to get a point. Decided to try iFollow for the Rochdale game. Oh, no, it was after the Rochdale game. The video and audio worked well, but the performance MK was flat as a contour map of Holland. We just haven't got anything in the way of strikers. Am I being too negative? Well, I think, now, on this question of, Tisdale out, fans being negative, considering the position we're in, I think our fans are being very...
restrained, I would say.
Restrained and thoughtful, or... I don't know.
No, I mean, there are some right morons.
Oh, there are. You're always going to have those.
Yeah.
But the number of morons seems to have reduced quite drastically recently.
Is that rather than... I mean, you got the Tisdale, he's got to go, he's rubbish and all that, but there are quite a lot of people over all the various social media platforms who are arguing with valid points as to why he should go. And you think, that's a bit of a sea change, isn't it? Because normally all you get is just, he's fucking rubbish, he's got to go, which he is. Yeah. And I don't... Really honest to God, I honestly am perplexed. He's just confused me, Well,
let's have a look. Look at the players that we've got, right? Now, we know that we've got one of the bigger budgets in the league.
Yeah.
And as with Championship season, when we brought Simon Church in, it was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good. He didn't score any goals. Nicky Maynard, to a lesser extent, similar situation there. So you can go out, but we're looking at the players that we've got, and we know. I mean, JMT came back, man of the match on Saturday, played very well again last night. The only standout player last night,
he was
really.
on Saturday.
He blocked
funny you
absolutely
should
everything.
say that, because I genuinely, honestly, up until either last night or today, didn't even realise that Houghton had played on Saturday. Honestly, I didn't.
Where was he? That was it. Players do go missing. Players do go missing, and
better than be back to what we were saying.
Well, let's go into Tranmere then. So first off, the first thing I noticed, early doors, as they say.
What are you on about?
I keep saying Tranmere. Sorry.
You're excited because you think we'll beat them. You're wrong.
Rochdale.
The
Dale. Now, I've always liked Rochdale.
I call them the Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks.
I don't know why I call them that, but that's what I've always called them.
Rochdale. They've always played decent football, Rochdale. And I've always thought, if I lived up that way in the Greater Manchester area,
I think I wouldn't go and see them.
I think I'd probably, just for the style of football, I wouldn't mind watching them. So, watching that, and I was thinking to myself, they are playing so deep.
Yeah.
They are putting 11 men behind the ball
because
early
they know
on.
What's going? They know what
because
they're going to do.
There's got to be a reason for that.
I mean,
but
Tisdale had a slide
more...
dig at that in his interview. Did you pick that up?
No.
Like he said, they're like a counter-attacking team, but there's nothing wrong with those tactics. And I think, well, there is, because you've just slagged it off
Well,
surreptitiously.
that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
But what's more worrying is
Do you know
that
why they did it? Because they know we are shit
they
and they
know
know we
they can score.
us. That's why.
This is how I saw it. In a nutshell, they defended very deep, very very deep, very early. They were never chasing the ball
Didn't
back.
be that early because they scored after a minute.
Well,
mate,
I
to be
mean,
quite honest.
to be fair, that goal was he caught that absolutely perfectly
did
on the
see-
half volley.
I mean,
there are a few things that feel better than catching a ball on the half volley at full tilt. That is the
I'll
best
tell you what
thing in
annoyed
the
me
world.
about that goal was Luke Ashmead, because he was shouting and screaming, and I thought, yes, we're away here. Shouting and screaming as if we'd scored.
Yeah.
And it went. I thought, hang on a minute, it's them that
Well, on the
scored.
old
Calm
I
yourself down,
follow. I
Was
was
it
watching
his
the old
commentary?
I follow. Yeah,
Oh,
him
right,
and
well.
Toby. On the I follow, it was my phone. I got a notification on my phone about
To see
10
that it
seconds
had
before the
scored,
goal.
yeah.
So I looked at my phone
Oh, of
just
course,
as
is
the
it
corner was being
behind you?
taken. Yeah, so
Ah, right.
the I follow slightly behind. So I thought, well, I've got to ignore that. But the way I saw it was that they had their game plan, which was defend deep,
Catches
snuff
and
out
break.
any sort of threat,
Well, they don't have to
and
worry
then
about
break.
that.
But
do they?
the most concerning thing for me was
That
that,
we were shit,
at
Tony.
no point did
Were we
they
good?
actually have to put
Any
any amount of effort in
I
to
know.
win the game. And you look like, and again,
Horrible, isn't it?
we do love a pundit catchphrase on here,
Go
but
on.
they never got out of third gear.
No, they just didn't. I
They
mean,
didn't get out of third
well,
gear.
I didn't watch it,
And
but I
we-
listened to it.
No,
you know,
we looked
and I
like-
was following it on Twitter. I always love to follow it on
We
Twitter.
looked like a team who weren't as good as
That's anything.
as Rochdale,
What are you doing? What
and
is
probably not deserving to
Neat.
be on the same pitch as them.
No.
They were just so much in control. They had no worries. I mean, yeah, we're always going to get chances in a game, but they always looked like if we did score a goal, they could go and quickly, easily score another one
Well-
if they needed to.
I'm finding irritating, really, and I thought today of how long I've followed this club. You just think, I can't see any way out of this, for us at the minute.
At this moment in time,
You can't, we can't get rid of him, because, I mean, if we're losing £10,000 a day, we can't get rid of the guy. We can't afford to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Who's going to come in? If anyone does come in, they're just going to have the same pile of shit to work
Exactly.
with.
And
it's
this
not
is-
going to as if
this
you can
is the-
suddenly,
this is the
I'm coming
major-
in, oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
I'm bringing all these guys with me. No.
this is the difference between sacking Nielsen in October and sacking Tisdale in October. Nielsen had a full squad of players that
well, fit
he
squad,
couldn't manage.
he couldn't
he couldn't play
get them
the,
to work
the,
right.
the football.
Yeah.
Tisdale has got all these injuries, but the football it's uninspiring.
No, it's appalling.
And
I mean, it
the only
really
bright
is.
thing for me has been Jordan Moore-Taylor the last two games. As I say, last night he threw himself in front of everything. He won every header. He was sliding into challenges, blocking. It was, and I don't know. Maybe other players can take some inspiration from that. I don't know, but in the second half we actually pressed further up. I mean, Louis spent most of his time well out of his usual position.
What was
but
he
it
like? It's
didn't make
difficult
an-
when you listen to it on the radio.
He
'cause
put
that
in a
was-
cut. I mean, Callum Britton could have had genuinely
he
could have
did
had
say-
3
he-
goals.
he did say
Two
that.
of those from crosses by Louis. I mean, they were giving Louis. They weren't giving Louis a lot of space, but he was curling these crosses in at an angle that that in the corridor of uncertainty.
Another good one, yeah. Blimey.
Callum had one at the near post, at the far post, which they said on the radio he would have struggled to get in because he was so wide. But to me, it looked like he could have got it on target. Then he had another one, again crossed by Louis. So the chances were there, but we have this thing where we get to the halfway
It's like a
line
mental
and we
block,
can't. We go backwards again. And I don't know if teams are gonna. If teams
So
work
what
that
do you
out,
think that they're being told to play a specific way and they either can't understand what he wants or it's beyond their ability? I would be thinking it's not beyond their ability because he's managed for the majority of his his career in League Two. That right there, that's a League Two. That's a lower table League Two squad we've got at the minute. It's just. It is a massive pile of shit at the minute. It really is. I don't know what the answer is. I can't sit here and philosophise. Much as I'd like for the guy to go, and I'm not going to beat about the bush. This job is beyond his ability. Let me give you another analogy, like I did last week with the Home Secretary. Right, I've been an electrician for over 40 years. For the last 18 of those years, well, I specialise in repairing central heating systems. That's what I do. Right, I'm really good at it. Right, I'm really, really good at it. I don't like doing it. I always say I've been cursed by being good at something I don't like doing. Right, I can do it. Right, I'm really good at it. What I cannot do, however, I can't go into boiler houses and industrial complexes and do that, because you know why? Because it's beyond my ability.
Yeah.
This job in managing a club with the ambitions that we've got is beyond Paul Tisdale's. It's just beyond his ability. It's beyond his skill set, and he just cannot do it. I'm sorry, he can't do it. He's no good at it.
Also, I forgot to mention.
Oh, go on. The referee on Saturday, he was a prick.
Oh God, he was fucking awful.
I forgot about him.
Now we don't like to criticise referees on this show, but we will highlight good referees.
Yes, I have been going to football for over 50 years, and that's the earliest I have ever seen anyone being booked ever. I can never remember anyone.
Do you know how I know he was that bad?
Why were you looking at him?
I sit next to, and I have done for the last few months. I sit next to
your mum.
I sit next to your mum, but also a referee who's quite.
He's
quite well known. He's quite well known, and he's a very high standard. Yeah, he's EFL referees, EFL Fulf and Lino and all that sort of thing. Now he didn't come down for the second half.
Right.
He didn't appear, and I've got a theory that's because he knew how bad that referee was, and didn't want to be anywhere near people who would be. Because there was one in the second half where the ball bounced up and hit their defender on the arm.
Yeah.
Right, now the rule is that if it's an accidental handball, the rule is now changed. If it's an accidental handball, but you gain an advantage from it, then it's a foul. Right. Now he did say to me a couple of weeks ago, although that's the rule,
but it doesn't warrant a card or anything.
Doesn't warrant a card, but if it's in the area, referees will think twice about giving a penalty. If it was outside the area, they wouldn't think twice.
Yeah.
Right? Now, again, that's human nature, but it's not the rules. Anyway, the referee did. I mean, he was fucking shit.
He was
absolutely terrible.
He was so pedantic. It was just
so bad.
No, we've come here to watch this. You don't make it all about you. That's the worst thing. When it's all about them, you just think, mate, we're not here. Well, how many times have you said it? You know when a referee said a good game if you can't remember anything that he's done? That guy.
That's exactly what you want.
Flashing a card in the first minute of the game.
I was sat next to the club secretary. So I've got referee here. No, referee sits next to me. Now, my mum there, club secretary on my left, and she said to me, "How many yellow cards is that now?" And she's trying to work out what the fine's going to be. Yeah, and I think it's six, but. Someone said it was 8.
No, it was 6.
I don't believe it was
6. I have read 6.
But yeah, I mean, Louis got booked for not sure what. He was just bad. He was just bad.
Referee, that guy.
But yeah, did I say Bowery taken off at half time last night?
No, I can't remember. Did he?
He did. He got taken off.
Right, we're enough about referees.
He got taken off at half time.
Right. Okay.
And that, for me, having been, let's say, dropped on Saturday, completely out of the squad, bring him back last night and take him off at half time.
What's that doing to the guy's confidence? You know?
Well, is he carrying an injury and he's playing because that could be it, or is he getting taken off at half time because he's not good enough?
Well, he's not good enough, but I don't.
And again, it's very rare for commentator. I mean, Luke Ashmead can be quite outspoken during his commentaries, and he'll say it how he sees it. But it's very rare for, especially a local commentator, to basically say, this lad's not good enough. He's just not good enough.
They did say it last night, didn't they?
Yeah, he just isn't, and
he's not good enough.
He may be good enough, but if he is, he's certainly not showing it at the moment.
I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to end up playing for Potter's Bar or something next year.
There will be, it will be that drastic.
As drastic as like a drop as that, or he'll be playing.
The old Tom Hitchcock effect.
Yeah, that's what it'll be like. You just think you rock up at
Jason Banton.
1 week and he'll be in the opposition lineup. You just think
he'll play for Brackley in pre-season.
Yeah, he will be. He's nowhere near good enough. But like you say, that's all we've got at the minute. You know.
All right.
What
So,
can you say?
question for you,
Go me, I'm ready. Go.
and question for the listeners.
Excited.
Send us your answers on a postcard via email. Give me what is wrong, what
Okay.
the problem is. All right, and you can include injuries in that.
Right. Okay.
What we can do about it,
Right.
and how much longer if we lose on Saturday and lose to Tranmere. How much more time? Bearing in mind we have got the injuries thing. Answer those if you
Right.
can.
What was the first one? What are the problems?
What is the problem? Why are we playing so badly?
The problem is that what we were saying, especially when we were on that Sunderland podcast, where we were saying that this, you never know what his tactics, what his lineups are going to be. We were looking at that as a strength.
Yeah.
That now has become his biggest failure, in my opinion, because I don't think that the squad know what they're doing, to be quite honest. I don't think he's either, like I said a minute ago, there's either a massive failure in communication between the bench and the playing staff, or basically it's what he's asking them to do, they just can't understand what it is. That's what I think. Obviously we got injuries. He's not had his first team squad out, like I read. I think it was Toby Loke that said it. He hadn't had his first team squad out for about a year, has he?
No,
he's preferred first choice.
If you had your
so
first
you've got to
choice
give the
11.
guy that. But we've said it before. He's the manager of the club. It's his job to get something done about that. That's his job. This, I don't know. There's been an awful lot talked in the last week about his failure to have loan players in the squad
From the beginning of the season.
But let's be honest with you, right? See, a club at our level, that's just how it is. You've just got to have loan players because just look at what's happened because we don't have them.
But
you've
look at
got to have them, you know.
When we came back to pre-season, and we'd watched a couple of pre-season games, and we looked at the squad, and I raved about this surplus of centre backs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
and how
we still
everything,
got GMT to come back.
how everything was,
fantastic.
there'll be a lot of competition for places.
Jesus
And I go
Christ,
back
you
to
know,
that thing
it's
that
fucking
that-
fly, Tony.
Yeah, it's a moth or something. Richie Barker said about players not having any competition for places.
Yeah, it could be
It
that.
is a
like
very
you say,
similar
yeah.
situation
Don't
again.
need to
there.
try because there's no one.
Well, you see,
Snapping at my heels, you
I
know?
doubt that. I doubt that. But
No,
when
I'm
Richie
just,
Barker
you
said
know,
it,
saying it.
when Richie Barker said it, I thought, well, he's a lot more knowledgeable
Yeah,
than me in this
football, yeah.
area. And that was actually in pre-season after we lost to Stevenage.
Yeah.
And he said, where's your motivation? You got no competition now, but the second someone gets back fit, you're going to be out because you've not done the business. I don't know. I mean, there are so many questions to ask
And what can you do to put it right?
And what can you do? I don't know.
Jesus
And
Christ,
this
I
is the
have
thing.
no
and
idea.
what's more, the thing that really annoys me, or really worries me, and particularly watching that game last night, is how easy it was for Rochdale last night.
And let's be honest, they've hardly ever pulled any trees up
Yeah.
there.
And I've seen us play
existence,
against
haven't they?
teams, and we've seen it many times down the last 10 years or so, where you've thought to yourself, yeah, with no way we're going to lose this. We're going to win this comfortably.
That's what they thought.
And that's
we
what
up.
Rochdale fans
That's
must have
what
been
people are
thinking
thinking
last night.
now. We're one of those teams that.
We are. I mean, look,
we are one of those teams. now.
Southend got beaten 7-1 last
That's
night.
us, yeah.
They've won one game this season,
Yeah.
Southend.
Got Sol Campbell though.
Yeah, what a great start.
Yeah, that's a good start. I thought, well done, mate. You've
Yeah.
left a flyer there.
So, you look at, and I think their goal difference is now two worse than...
You know the funniest thing about last
two
night?
worse than Bolton.
The absolute hilarious funniest thing last night, we've actually moved up a place.
I know, I can't believe that. That's absolutely
brilliant.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I read somewhere on the internet, some guy goes, brilliant, we'll be in champions by this keeps up.
Well, well done to Bolton for winning their first game.
But they won.
Yeah, they
When
won
did they
2-0.
play us? Because that's when they won their second one.
Well, exactly. And there's a certain bit of consternation about that as well, because it's a little bit unfair the
Who did
later
they
on
beat?
as you play them in the season.
Yeah, because they get better
Because
players, yeah.
because they can
Oh,
have much better players.
Yeah, I really thought that.
So yeah.
What was the third thing you said?
So what can we do about it? What do we? What's the problem? What can we do about it? I can't remember what the other thing
Well,
was.
there was
Do you know, I don't care anymore.
I mean, I don't know what the problem is. I mean,
Do you
we're
know
just
what? I
guessing.
genuinely,
There is a problem, though. There's a massive problem
genuinely,
somewhere.
JT, I could have quite easily not done this tonight. I could have happily stayed at home.
Yeah.
I really could have done. Because we're just doing the same as we did last week.
Yeah, we are really. I mean, I don't. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I really don't know what to say at the minute. I really don't. It's not enjoyable to watch, is it? I mean, I was sitting listening to that last night on the radio with some bizarre sense of duty that I should listen to it, and you just think I could have got another 2 or 3 episodes of Breaking Bad I did last night. I could have done. And
Oh, you haven't watched El Camino then?
No, I can't watch it, can I? Because I've not watched Breaking Bad. So
I thought you'd already watched Breaking
No,
Bad.
no.
You were doing it again.
no, I've never watched it. I'm enjoying it though. I'll be honest, it's good. I'm halfway through season 2
it's
now.
fantastic.
It gets better, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the slow way that they're both gradually. You can see, they're just going to be a right couple of bad blokes. So.
Oh, it's good stuff, mate.
So yeah, I mean that's what I thought to myself last night. I'm sitting here listening to this. I've got a thumping headache, which is obviously a precursor to not feeling well today. And then I'm listening to this, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing? And then the interview after it.
Right, so I generally don't listen to interviews or watch them. So
You did make an effort though to listen.
Summary.
To
I watched 30 seconds on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then someone took a soundbite out where he said it's not my fault, it's not the player's fault. I don't know what the context was there, but go on, give us a summary.
Luke was being quite. I thought he could have been a bit more honest, but like we said earlier on, they've got to be careful what they say.
Yeah.
But he asked towards the end of the game, he goes, text me in your questions. So I texted one and I said, ask him if he thinks this job is beyond his abilities, and I was hoping, please ask him that, but he didn't. I don't think he asked any questions that anyone had sent in.
Yeah.
So, but fair enough. So he's just rabbiting on. He's going, the game plan, and he's going on about, they hope to catch us on the break. They sat back a lot and all this, and then I can't even remember the context, but then he just turned around and goes, well, we are trying, and you could see he'd bitten for something that he'd said, right?
Yeah.
He goes, we are trying. We're all trying, and then it was all this shit about. He didn't say we're trying too hard, but he did say, we need to back off a bit and all this. And I'm thinking, back off a bit? Are you fucking mad, mate? Back off a bit more than you are at the minute.
Well, we were stopped at the halfway line last night, and the ball then went backwards again or across the back four. I mean, we had a lot of room to play football last night, but I don't know. I can't. So. Like you say, it's almost like our
Deja vu.
I mean, again, clubs go through good and bad, and you have to stick with it all the way through. But at the same time, I can honestly say that I'm not enjoying the football.
No, it's not enjoyable.
If we are going out and getting absolutely hammered, but it looks like we're doing our best, or we just haven't got the players.
We were in the championship,
but we have got the players.
We tried in the championship, didn't we?
We didn't change our style of football.
We weren't as good as the other teams. Obviously, because we got relegated, we weren't as good as them. But we weren't like we are at the minute, because we just don't seem. I mean, he's gone last night. I can't even remember the context of the question, but he goes, "It's not my fault. It's not the players' fault. It's not fate's fault." And I'm thinking, well, who the fuck's fault is it then, mate?
Very few
it's your fault, mate.
Very few times in the Championship season where we looked out of our depth. Burnley away on a Tuesday night was one of them. We got beat 2-0, I think. Then they came to our place and they beat us 4-5-0 at home. So very rarely did we look out of our depth, and quite often we would outplay other teams.
Yeah.
Now, we got a 0-0 on Saturday against Coventry.
Yeah.
And even going back to the Blackpool 3-0, I said it at the time after the game that we didn't really do an awful lot other than score 3 goals, which sounds a strange thing to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
but if you're keeping a clean sheet at that end, then you're hoping
that you can
nick
someone at the other.
Yeah, that you're going to get a goal at the other end. We're doing our bit, lads. Off you go and get us a goal. But we didn't. I don't know. That's what I mean. It's just so hard to talk about at the moment.
I genuinely thought when I heard that last night, I said that right there, that what you've just said, and more so when you actually watch the interviews opposed to just listen to it, I said that there, that what you've just said there, that is your Dan McKeechie moment right there when you've said that is going to come back and haunt you that phrase right there is going to lose him his job, I reckon. I really do.
Well, his body language
It was
was
just atrocious.
it just there was. He might as well have just had a flashing sign which said,
Fuck
"Get
off.
me out of here."
Well, he did say, didn't he? He goes, I'm not hanging about. I'm not waiting about here. We're going back.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, he said, we got back, we got to get some rest. And I'm thinking, yeah, you've got to get some rest. All these other 128 morons that have driven up here, they've got to drive back, mate. They ain't sitting in a luxury coach. They've got to drive back and get up for work in the morning. The majority of them, they're not going to... I mean, these guys have had the day off, haven't they? I know they got a game on Saturday. It's just... See that? It's not my fault. Don't bite, mate. Don't snap like that. Be
Also,
reason. Think about what
importantly-
you're going to say.
Very importantly, 128
Yes.
is 2 to the power of 7.
Oh, well, that is the most important thing about last
Yeah.
night. Not a
2 to the
wasted
power of
din.
7. No,
Don't
that
it?
was as soon as I heard that, I perked up.
Oh, hey.
And I thought, hey, 128, 2 to the power of 7.
Yeah,
Come on, son. Have some of that.
So, I mean, this is just... I think, ironically enough, I think we were probably more pissed off last week than we are this week, because I think now we've just think, well,
Accepted.
this is fucking how it is.
our
now,
fate.
isn't it? We're just,
Yeah.
what can you
I mean,
do?
I'd say last night was a clear to me that there were 2 teams on the pitch and one of them was in control and never looked in any danger of doing anything other than win the game comfortably. And that for me is very, very depressing to think.
It's very
that
worrying
that's
because,
us at the moment.
I mean, like you said last week, you don't want to be that team, do you? I don't want to
No, I
be
don't wanna be
Southend
that-
on Sea, you know? I don't want
you
to be
see,
that.
I'd rather be Southend on sea because at least you get a bit of excitement
And it's by the sea.
and it's by the sea. But you know, I don't want to be. I said it a couple of weeks ago. Northampton. I don't want to be. You know,
You don't want to be
3
Northampton,
seasons
yeah.
where you
Yeah.
finish 12th.
Yeah.
Then you get a promotion or a relegation. Then you got another 3 seasons
Not
of
doing
12th.
that.
Then you get a promotion, and it just goes round in cycles. I
don't
don't want
want
to fall
that.
into that.
No,
we
I
need
don't
to
want
be.
that team.
We need to be in the championship. We need to stay in the championship. We need to have our day. We need to. I don't know. Is there anything that the chairman can do from a financial point of view? I mean,
No,
obviously.
we can't, no. We're financially hamstrung. We
So what
just
if someone came along and offered him 100 million quid?
bite their hand off?
What would he do with it?
What? Oh, you mean give him 100 million quid and he's got to
It's
stay?
literally.
Oh, I thought you
it's
meant come
literally a
and buy the
disposable.
club.
It's literally a disposable income.
Jesus, what could
You
you
know,
do with that?
So you can, like I said before,
You don't need
we've
to
got,
do anything
We've
with
got
the
Simon.
infrastructure of the
We've got
stadium.
Simon Church in on, and it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Again, Nicky Maynard. I like Nicky. He's a bloke. I got on really well with him, but he didn't set the world alight either.
No, he
So
wasn't interested in being here, was he? Remember he
that's
hung
just
around
his,
fast and
that's his demeanour.
fat arsed and hung about to see if anyone else would sign him before he committed.
Oh yeah, but that's football
That's
at his age as well.
What can you say? Yeah,
And he's done well since actually. Talking of which, Aaron Wilbraham 40
yeah,
came on
40.
last night. He'd
Good
love
luck
to have
to him.
scored against
Yeah.
us. You could see he was shaping every time he
Good.
got the ball for
Like
the
Talon
shot.
music.
There was a moment actually where time almost stood still, and I could hear almost Toby and Luke on the radio sort of pause
Yeah.
when Albie got the ball, and it looked like he was going to pull the trigger, but he didn't. But I don't know, mate. I really,
I
I'd say
mean-
I was struggling to think what we were going to
What
say
we were gonna
tonight
talk
because
about.
you might as well just rewind to last week, change the names.
Even as much, like, if someone did, like, invest, for what you've said, 100 million quid, what could you do with that? I wouldn't trust, I certainly wouldn't trust Paul Tisdale to spend it. No chance, would I? No way. If someone that thinks, like, Jordan Bowery is someone that they should sign, there's no way you're getting your hand on that checkbook.
Well,
There's
also-
no chance.
My point was that 100 million quid, once it's gone, it's gone. Now, it's a huge amount of money in League
Yeah.
One, obviously, and should see you out of League
Well,
One.
look
into
at
the
Wickham. They've
Championship.
had a little bit of investment and they're top of the league, for Christ's
Yeah.
sake. Wickham Wanderers.
But again-
I tipped them for the drop this year.
Get the winning mentality,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there is also
Builds up,
the
yeah.
losing mentality.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's easier.
Oh, confidence
lose.
breeds success. Everyone says that.
Yeah, it does. It really
yeah.
does. And losing can become a habit, and a habit where it's almost a relief.
Inevitability. Yeah.
Yeah, to say, you know, we've
Oh, no.
we've got through to, we've played for an hour and it's still
Oh, yeah,
0-0.
good.
The other team scores. Oh, right, that's how it's
that's
supposed to be.
it.
Thank God for that. Normal service
Yeah.
resumed.
There must
It's
be
not
a-
my fault.
Did you see Louis' interview?
I
Wasn't
saw
much better, to be
again
quite
about
honest,
30
you know.
seconds of
Yeah.
it, but
A load of mumbling, a load of platitudes.
he will. Yeah, he will. I mean, the thing is, I spoke to him after Coventry and after whoever we lost to the previous game. His demeanour was very similar to last season. In things will come together. Keep an eye, just cavalry's on its way, sort of thing.
I mean, you never know what might happen.
And he was right last season. Yeah. He was right last season.
You never know what might happen come January, but
no, yes, it's true.
I mean, the problem is now I'm not saying this to elicit, like a joke or anything. We genuinely are the worst team I've seen this year in this league. We are.
We're consistently
we're
bad
shit,
as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
you get
nothing good about it.
I mean, the Blackpool, as I say, that was great, fantastic. The Ipswich losing 1-0 to Ipswich, which bizarrely felt really
right,
good.
Yeah.
Coventry, I tell you how you can tell how the mood is at the club by how busy the pitchside bar is after the game.
Oh, right.
And this Saturday after the Coventry game,
quite a thing, eh?
It was quite busy, and it was very buzzy, and there was a lot of.
Oh, you could tell when you're walking out. You can always tell when you're walking out. People were walking out with a spring in their step on Saturday. They were, but obviously they fucking soon got brought back down to earth, didn't they?
Someone said that Rochdale fans walking out, and normally when we lose at an away game, away teams would be like, "Oh, we've done well there to beat MK," and whatever. But they walked out and they were saying, "God, they were shit, weren't they?"
Yeah, we just were. That's what it is. What can you say? I mean, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to say. I mean, I'm at a loss now. And it's not good for a podcast, isn't it? I've got nothing to say. But
I think we just wrap it up then, because I mean, we got the Port Vale in the FA Cup as well, Glamour-tie.
Oh, fucking hell.
Jesus,
can things get worse? Can things get any worse? Yes, they
Someone
can.
made a very good joke on Twitter. I saw that if Salford got the bye in the FA Cup draw, the BBC would still show
the match.
Maybe a five-a-side between their players or something. Yeah, so Port Vale. I mean, the chances are there are very few games.
I'm going to go. It's at home, and I will go. My lad says I ain't going to that, and I goes, "Oh, I'll go." I mean, I'd go.
Yeah, I'm not going to not go. But if it was
a reasonably priced match, I would have thought
you're not going to get a massive one with that, and anybody that's the biggest teams.
What you want
that
at this stage is a non-league team.
Yeah, you want a non-league team, and you want to play them away.
Yeah. And you want to be on the telly.
Tick them off.
Yeah, and you want to be on the telly.
Get the telly money, but no, we haven't got any of that. We're probably going to have based on how we're doing at the moment. I mean, I know
I reckon they'll beat us.
It's a couple of weeks.
I don't know how they're doing.
They scored a second winner last night. I know that, but that crowd could be very low. That could be as low as like 4.
I was just going to say, I reckon 4,000 for that.
There's no incentive.
No one's going to go.
There's no incentive.
No casual fans are going to think, "Oh, let's go and see Milton Keynes in the FA Cup this afternoon." Are you joking?
Against
Have you seen the way they're playing? No.
Yeah, so
Saturday.
Saturday we've got Fleetwood.
Is that Joey Barton's Fleetwood?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man, I don't want to
2-0 for me, obviously.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I got it right last week, didn't I? Nilsies, I said.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing. I've no idea.
I mean, but by the law of averages, we've got to score. We've got to win a game at some point.
It wouldn't be this one.
You don't think so?
No,
see, again, that begs the question then. So what if we do lose on Saturday?
What happens then?
And we lose in the same manner?
Yeah.
I mean, the chairman will obviously be looking at the injury situation.
I mean, he must be...
But again, if we do get a new manager in,
you can't...
What's he going to do? He's going to be in exactly the same position with the same problems. There are certain managers who can thrive in those conditions, and we know who they are, and they'll probably want a lot more money than Tisdale's being paid.
I don't want guys like that here,
I don't. But again, we're going to be that club that has to bring in a firefighter to bring some normality back, to get us to 14th at the end of the season or something like that.
Up, I mean, even just anyone, even like Wimbledon last year with that bloody Wally Downs, they were happy enough that he'd done a job enough just to keep them up. Are we going to be that this year? No, I don't want to be that team, I don't want to be them, obviously, ever, but I don't want to be that team, You just think, no, I don't want to be a team. I don't want to be a team that thinks, oh, thank God for that, we finished like 14th. You think, oh, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I don't want to be that club.
I mean, Pete can't be happy with what he's seen. I mean, obviously not, obviously not. Because he was saying at the beginning of the season they were going to push for promotion. Are you joking, mate? Not with him as manager, he went. No chance.
Well,
I'm sorry. No.
interest today was 3 years to the
I
day
did see that.
that,
Yeah, I was laughing when I
Carl
thought
got
about it.
sacked.
And
a
where
few
were we
people saying
then?
we should never have got rid of him, yet 90% of the fan base were saying he's got to go.
Desperate for him.
It's amazing how many people have changed their minds about that.
It's as simple as that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what would have happened if he'd stayed.
No, exactly. I tell you what
Who
I do
knows?
know is that if Nielsen had stayed, it would have been a lot worse than keeping Carl on, because Carl would not change the way he plays, and to the very death, if it did mean relegation, which I don't think it would have done. I really don't. We would have still had football worth watching.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm just not excited. I still get excited about going to games, but
I like going. I like the whole thing. I mean, like Saturday was good because it was busy and it felt more like what Sam was saying last week, all the difference in, you know, the fan base.
the away
it felt
fans, yeah.
better to go, but it wasn't. I mean, that first half of football, I just thought, are you having a laugh, mate? No, I'm not wanting to die watching this. No chance. But I did watch it, and I don't know. What can you say?
I don't. This is it.
I mean,
this
I'm
is the problem.
continually saying
I mean, we
that.
are now.
What can
we
you
are
say?
Genuinely now struggling to not repeat ourselves
Yeah.
on a weekly basis, because
There's nothing to say.
there's nothing to.
There's no positives. We can't.
No, there isn't. I mean,
You know.
penalty save on Saturday.
That was it, yeah,
Jordan
good.
Moore Taylor
Yeah.
played well last night,
That was
but
it.
you know, if someone was, it would be nice to hear from someone who, if it was a neutral at the game last night and said, right, you know, would give us your assessment
Yeah,
of
what
that.
do you
I'm
think?
fairly sure they would say, well, there was only one team on the pitch that was ever going to win that,
And it wasn't you.
and the other team looked out of their depth and posed no threat whatsoever.
I don't know.
All right,
I reckon
come on,
we
that's
should
it.
just
I've fucking
wind it
done,
up.
mate.
Fucking
Let's
done now.
just do it, finish it, be
So
done.
what have we got? Just one game to talk
Yeah,
about.
so just the one,
God's
just the
sake.
one Fleetwood. I'm not going, so
If you Google, we genuinely
send us your
specifically
match report. Send us your thoughts as
Yeah.
well. You know, answer my questions if you
Yeah.
can, which we've now forgotten at least one of. What's the problem? What can we do about it? Should Tisdale, if Tisdale goes, who do we bring in? Or not so much who do we bring in, but is that we don't think it's a solution. A lot of Dons fans don't think it's a solution, but by the same token, what I don't know. I
they're
really don't know.
resigned to the fact that we can't get rid of them. The majority of people that have been.
Well, yeah, it's not
So
going to be
that's
cheap.
it.
I wouldn't
No,
imagine.
you can't. I mean, we can't afford
Yeah.
to get rid of them, can we?
mkdonsradioshow@gmail.com. All your stuff. And as per usual, John was absolutely right. When we're doing shite,
Yeah,
we
it's
get a
good
lot
to
more
hear. We do, it's
correspondence
good to
from you
hear.
boys and
always
girls.
do.
So send them
Oh,
through.
Christ, this week's postbag will be bulging now. Jesus.
Send them through. Let us know your thoughts on that, because we are really struggling now, and I just don't like to talk about it, really, because it's not. There's nothing to talk about, is there?
No,
That's the
it's
problem.
difficult. It's difficult to fill an hour with just saying the same shite, so I'm stopping now. Done.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye. Number, to be honest, 14.
What is
14 is a shit number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's half of it is a prime number, which makes it a little bit more exciting.
No,
But it's one of those even numbers that goes nowhere, you know.
Yeah, well, I can't fault you with your numbers crunching, Tony. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh,